Hey guys, this is Miss Crosby and I wanted to kind of introduce you to Zentangles today. I have a few books that I want to show you. This one is one that I really like. It's called The Joy of Zentangle. And I'm going to flip through here really quick and show you a few of the patterns and stuff like that. You can see some of them there. And most of these early Zentangles are done with pencil and paper and pen or marker. And some of these books have some really good designs and things like that in them. Let me see if I can get it up close here for you. This one in particular has lots of different designs you can look at. And I'll have this one available in class for you guys to flip through. Okay, what I'm showing you right here is a giant size Zentangle that I'm working on. Okay, and I wanted to show you some of my inspiration, if you would. Let me see if I can flip this around. There we go. Alright. I wanted to show you this pearl hair barrette. You can see the beads wrapping around it. It's not a real pearl barrette, but it kind of gives me the idea for some little circle designs that I can do, and I can do shading around those. I'm going to add some of that to my giant Zentangle that I'm doing here. This is one of my favorite cross necklaces. I will probably incorporate that somehow to my Zentangle design. And so I'm going to keep these things handy. This is a pin that I like to wear sometimes at school. I'll keep that handy. And if I want to look at these things and kind of draw or use those as inspiration, I can. And this is one of my favorite necklaces. I just wore this one to church the other day. And it's got these cute little spangly dangly things on it, and so I think I'd like to incorporate that into my design also. So I'm going to keep all these things kind of handy and off to the side so that you can more or less see them, and they're there but they don't get in my way. So I may take and do that. And this is a pin that I got actually from Walmart a couple weeks back, and I got a matching one for my best friend. And it's a little dragonfly pen, and it kind of inspired me. Let me see if I can hold it there where you can see it really good. Kind of inspired me to do this dragonfly drawing. Okay, so I wanted you to be able to see that really up close and get an idea for what it looks like. Okay, and this is also a dragonfly necklace that I have, and it kind of inspired me also, and I like the iridescence and the quality of it. It kind of has that Zentangle feel to it. So a Zentangle is nothing more than just a glorified doodle, and people have been doing Zentangles for years and years and years. This is one that I am working on right now, and you can turn a Zentangle pretty much any way you want to. It just depends on how you want to display it. It's just a doodle that you have drawn and incorporated a bunch of different patterns to. And if I show it really up close, you can see where I've done like scales, like fish scales. And I've also done some cute little swirlies and some stripes. And there I'm starting some paisleys. And this one I did pretty much just for my students. You can see I've got a spot for their name and their grade and their teacher's name down at the bottom. And I've started this Zentangle out with a dragonfly because I like dragonflies, and a lot of the kids like bugs and things like that. They like to play with them in the yard. So I thought this might be a good Zentangle to start them on. And you see I've left some empty spaces here. And what I'll probably do is copy this one and put it on the shelf so that the kids can have a chance to finish it off in the little sections that are here, and then they can also color in the designs that I've done here and that sort of thing. Okay, with color pencil or glitter crayons, or you know, just whatever they fancy. And I might even get out some markers and stuff for them to use also, which makes a nice bright contrast between the ink and the smooth colors of the color pencil. Okay, so after they do their black and white drawing, which I'm going to encourage especially the older kids to do with a Sharpie or a big permanent marker, that sort of thing. Then we're going to take and maybe do some watercolors and some color pencils and things like that on top of their original design. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. This happens to be Bristol board, and I have some of that right here. This is Strathmore's Bristol board. I happen to like to use this particular kind. It works pretty well for me. This is a little bit bigger than I want to use though for class because it won't quite fit on the copy machine as well as I like it to. And it's kind of a little bit harder to get the copy machine to recognize that size. So I use more of a 8.5 by 11 size for my students. Also, I have right here some watercolors, some watercolor pencils, and I'll probably use these on this Dragonfly design. You can see I've got all different kinds right here, and these I got for Christmas from my mom. And I also have some other books here that I'm going to leave available for the class that I've purchased on Amazon and that sort of thing. This one is called Time to Tangle, and it is by Marie Browning, and it incorporates color with Zentangle and uses a lot of positive and negative space, which is kind of nice. You can see that there with the butterfly. She's got the positive and negative space there, and I really like this paisley one right here. That one's really cool. Okay, and she also works in some text. And I like to use Bible verses and things like that when I'm sitting there on Sunday morning listening to the preacher. A lot of times I'll be doodling and drawing these Zentangles, but what I'm doing is I'm writing the scripture that he's talking about in my Zentangle, and I'm actually incorporating it into the Zentangle. So I'm going to show you guys how to get started, and then you can use some of these exciting ideas in class or at home or wherever you want to do them. To do some of these really fun techniques. And this one right here, she shows you how to do some splashy backgrounds with some watercolor, and it's very pretty. I'm going to incorporate some of that into this design over here. I might even use some oil pastel. We'll just have to see how it goes and what mood I get into as I'm working. I also like to use gel pens. I like to use color pencils, especially because I can really control how tight and how dark or bright I get on those. A lot of this stuff is really fun for scrapbooking. So if you like to do scrapbooking, this stuff can be really fun in the margins and around your pictures and things like that in your scrapbooking. Okay, so what I'm going to show you today is how to start with a central image like this fleur-de-lis, but I'm doing a dragonfly. Okay, and then you just break your picture up into sections. And after you've broken your picture up into sections, you can kind of do each little section with a different design. Oh, there's another book I wanted to show you by Sandy Steen Bartholomew, and it's called Totally Tangled, and this is a really good one as well. She does a lot of Zentangle books, and she's got some really cute ideas and shows you, which I really like, how to use some of the materials, which for beginners, beginning art students, that's really handy because they might not know how to use a blending stump or some of these really expensive markers and pens and things like that. But she shows you some basic step-by-step designs and how you can go from one stage to the next. So if you want to check out any of these books, that's fine. I'm not getting any kind of kickbacks or anything for promoting these books. These just happen to be some that I purchased and that I really like. Okay, so I'll probably work some of these cool Zentangle flowers into my design because I have the dragonfly and spring is kind of in the air. So I'm going to probably keep this handy real close by to my book so I can kind of see it and maybe work some of those ideas into my book. And I like this butterfly on the front cover right here, so I'm going to keep that one handy because I might, you know, slip the butterfly in there as well because it's one of my favorite symbols. So I'm going to draw a couple of lines on here for you. Let's see. I want to do a couple of swirlies and swooshes and things like that. I'm going to pull this stuff off the thing. And I want to be really free and loose with this because I want it to be nice and big. Okay. I'm just going to take a few minutes and get you started here. I'm going to do kind of a swooshy shape right there. I'm going to go right through my wing. And I may go back and thicken this up later. I'm kind of just drag it down right here. I can go back over this as many times as I like to make it as thick as I like. And I'm probably going to paint over it with watercolor later on so that it looks like the wing is in front of this little flowery swoosh that I'm doing. Okay? Now, if a swirl is just too advanced for you, if that's just way beyond what you feel you're capable of, you don't have the confidence to start drawing with a Sharpie or with a big permanent marker or what have you, you can start off with a pencil if you want to. It's not really considered kosher or the best way to do it when you're doing a Zentangle, but You know, if you're really just too scared to start drawing with a Sharpie or a permanent marker, you can start with pencil. I prefer just to jump right in there and do the Sharpie, but I have a little more confidence than probably your average 5th grader, or for that matter, your average person, lay person, just drawing for the fun of it, because I have actually had some schooling in art and that sort of thing. Okay, so there's my first little swoosh. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken this up right here. Kind of make it look like a little blade of grass. Okay, kind of like that look. And if I want to, I can take and start to break up some of these shapes right here that I see. Kind of maybe have another shape come out in this direction. Push that over there. And I'm not going to worry about the wing. I'm just going to go right through it, because dragonfly wings are kind of iridescent and they're kind of transparent anyway. You can see through them just a bit. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to draw right through the dragonfly wing. I'm going to come down. You can see how I'm starting to break this down into shapes. There's a little shape right there. And so when I go in to start decorating this, I'm going to take each little chunk or each little section of shape, this little part of the butterfly, the dragonfly body, this section right here, I'm going to take that and work with that as an individual section. And I'm going to do some really cool designs in that section. Okay, so the first step is just to get your overall picture drawn. Okay, and once you've got your overall picture drawn, then wham, you're ready to go. Okay, and I'm going to do another little swooshity, swirly kind of thing right here. That'll be really pretty. And I think I might take and break this down into sections, like so. Kind of make it look like, I don't know, a snail or something, or one of those seashells. I like to go with a lot of organic shapes, and then I'll incorporate some geometric shapes into my design as I'm drawing it. And I'm never necessarily stuck on what I'm doing. I can always change it up. That's the best part about doing a Zentangle. If you don't like it, change it. Draw over it. Work back into it, you know. Nothing that you've done is a mistake. It's all happy accidents that you can make into something else. You just have to be flexible and creative and figure out what you want to make it into. If I didn't like that, I could take a silver pen, gel pen or something like that. If that's too black for me, go back in with a silver gel pen and work on it some more and kind of tweak it and make it like I want to make it look. Okay? And I think I want to do like some flower petal type, leafy type shapes right here. Kind of give you that floral type look. Okay. Right there. Kind of a teardrop shape. I'm going to skip that little section where the wing is, and I'm going to do another one right here. Okay. Like so. And maybe I'm going to do this one coming back behind there so I get some cool overlapping and stuff like that. And like I say, if you don't like something that you've drawn, you can just go back and fix it. If a dragonfly shape is too hard for you, you could start with something really simple like a heart, or a circle, or a triangle overlapping a circle, or something like that. Okay, you don't have to start off with the most complex thing that you can possibly imagine. The cool thing about a Zentangle is you start off really simple, like with a dragonfly shape, or a butterfly shape, or a circle, or whatever, and then you build on it. And the more you work on it, the more stuff you add into it. Okay, so you can see already how complex this is starting to get, and I've only been working for just a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys, and I will come back to this later on today. I've got to take my husband to a doctor's appointment, but I will come back to this later on, and I will show you some more that I'm going to do to it, and I will continue to tweak it and work with it and that sort of thing. And as I add more stuff to it, I'll film it again so you guys can see what all I'm doing. And you can kind of get a feel for it. And I might even grab one of those big fat chisel tip markers and come in here and make some of these lines thicker, because I like to do that. And when I get down to doing the fine details, I will probably grab a Sharpie pen or two, and I will do these tiny little leaves and things like that with the Sharpie pen. And I'm going to make this like a big huge poster wall hanging type design done with Zentangles. Okay, and I'll probably do some watercolor when I get finished with the Zentangle part of it. I might even do some oil pastels or something like that blended in. I haven't decided yet. So that's just to show you how I'm getting started. I may do a pretty sunshine or a moon up there in the sky. That would be really pretty. Maybe the moonlight. I think maybe a crescent shaped moon or something like that might be pretty. Okay, so I'll get back to you guys later and have fun Zentangling, relax. If it's not relaxing you, stop doing it and go do something else. Enjoy your art. Have fun with it and let it kind of, you know, de-stress you, if you will. Or let your stress just flow into the picture. Okay? God bless, and you guys have a great day.